What's going on, everybody? Thank you for checking in with Callie. But today we have a topic about PJ Tucker. And, listening to PJ Tucker, he's basically saying the same thing that all of us have said, outside the Clippers organization, that there's not enough basketballs to go around. And, PJ Tucker's never been one to hold back his feelings or anything like that or anything he has to say because he's just an open type guy. You know what I'm saying? To me, based upon listening to his interviews over the years and listening to him talk, he's kind of the type of guy that wears his heart on his sleeve, if I may say. And that's just the way it is with him from what I see from a distance. And in this situation, I don't necessarily think he's wrong because I've said the same thing in many other videos before about the situation because it's not it's not a consistent process of players being in the right position to put them, for them to play at their highest because it's just not enough to go around. Like I said before, you're going to see some players, like some nights you see Kawhi, some nights you see PG, some nights they look good, some nights they don't, some nights they look average, some nights they look like superstars because they're trying to make everybody fit and it really might not just be a fit. Like I said, and, listen to PJ Tucker, it sounds like he's going down that same road because I'm pretty sure him coming there and once he got there and spoke to Ty Lue probably told him, probably told him, hey, we're going to find a way to get you some playing time. We're going to find a way to get you on the floor so you can help us out because we need your defense and we need you to, be an anchor, one of our anchors on defense in which we lost in trading for James Harden along with you. So with that possibly being told to PJ Tucker and him coming there knowing that he is a defensive type guy, he's probably thinking that he might get a little bit more playing time or, find a way to fit in there somewhere in which he's not. Now he's pretty much, just a guy on the bench and, with Terrence Mann playing and, other guys, he's just going to pretty much have to get in where he fit in. And with this team, you don't fit hardly anywhere because, think about it. Kawhi Leonard, the best player on the team, is not taking a lot of shots that he usually would take. There's nights PG isn't taking a lot of shots that he would take, even though he's been putting up a little bit more, which is the reason why I think the Clippers have been losing ultimately a lot of the games they should have won because you got your offense running through a guy who isn't consistent in Paul George, in which some fans tend to go back and forth with me, but it's really no going back and forth. Kawhi has championships, Paul George doesn't. So if you want to trust a guy who doesn't have championships, well, you're not going to fucking win. So it's just pretty much just that simple. It's not really nothing in between. It's just really how it is. So, and then on top of that, when you think about everything that's unfolded, honestly, between Kawhi and PG, both of them should be able to take as many shots as they want because they've been there longer than the other guys. They shouldn't have to defer to anybody else. So, and I definitely understand that. But there are nights where Kawhi looks good and sometimes PG doesn't and vice versa because they're trying to implement, everybody else. Now, Russ was already there. Russ already been a part of this, you know what I'm saying? So adding James Harden really made their life a little bit more difficult. And the fact that PJ Tucker got thrown into that trade, PJ Tucker wants to go out there and play. He wants to contribute. And I don't really blame him. He can play defense a little. He's not the defensive player he was a few years ago to me, about 5-6 years ago, but he's still a valuable player. He still can knock down a three and from the corner as he always, that's probably his favorite spot to shoot. And, he still can contribute to a team. He really can. But like I said, it's an odd man out with this team. You could find yourself playing 1 or 2 nights and you could find yourself not playing for 1 or 2 weeks, depending on what Ty Lue decides to do and how he's trying to implement everybody. And, the one person I really could blame for all this to me would be Lawrence Frank, because Lawrence Frank is the one who put this together. He is the one who actually allowed this trade to go through. He is the one who, along with the upper management, wanted this trade to go through. And I understand, some fans or what some people have told me, they went and did this trade because just in case Kawhi and PG get hurt again, they'll have a substantial backup to where they can win. Newsflash, you're not going to win with James Harden as your primary. You're not going to win if Russell Westbrook is your primary. You can't even win a championship with Paul George as your primary. And Paul George are better players than both of them at this point in their careers. So it goes through Kawhi Leonard. If Kawhi is not healthy, if Kawhi is not right, it's not a championship. And that's just the way it is. Because, like I said, if it was going to be, they would have won one a couple years ago when Kawhi went down and Terrence Mann had that 39-point game to get him to the next round against Utah. And they flopped in that series, against the Phoenix Suns. Paul George misses a couple crucial free throws. They don't really, have the offensive, continuity. And on top of that, Chris Paul had a vengeance against his old team, and he definitely wanted to stick it to the Clippers, just like Reggie Jackson did a couple weeks ago, along with DeAndre Jordan, who got 21 and 13. I don't know how the hell that happened, but it did. And, it was just one of those situations where the Clippers couldn't overcome. And this is my point. There's going to be there's a lot of distastefulness inside that locker room, whether you want to believe it or not. We can't prove it. We're not in there. I definitely understand that. But like I said, hearing a player like PJ Tucker come out and say something like this, it's just not enough to go around to make guys happy enough to feel like they're a part of something that's going to work. And that was the biggest problem, thinking about this team and how they're put together and things like that, and how they're really going to, gel the way they should to win a championship. Is going to be tough. And like I said, sacrifices got to be made, but guys don't want to sacrifice too much. I mean, these guys get paid to do a job just like Ty Lue does, and they want to be able to do their job at the highest level, to better their stats for one, and, for them to contribute. It's not even, and to be honest, it's not even really about the stats. Guys like to contribute. They want to feel like they're a part of something. They don't want to sit there on the bench and be like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Oh, Kawhi made a shot. Oh, PG made a shot. Oh, such and such made a shot. Guys want to contribute. They want to be a part of something. They don't want to sit there and be on a roster and hypothetically they won a championship and that guy didn't have a hand in it. That's just natural. These guys are competitors. They definitely should feel that way. You know what I'm saying? And it's good they feel that way because it lets you know they got some juice left inside their tank and they want to be able to utilize. So honestly, I can't blame PJ Tucker there. You know what I'm saying? And he's exactly right. You know what I'm saying? It could be, when you think about this team, they don't never really have nights where all of them look like good at one point in time. They're all not. They have. I mean, it's been a couple of games where that's happened, but it's not going to happen that often because sometime when one guy's hot, they're going to keep feeding the ball to one guy, and other guys are not going to eat, and then it's going to be vice versa. And then every now and then, one of them, they might have 15, 20 points apiece amongst each other, which is good. But at the same time, for certain players, they're not for that. Certain players just want to be able to contribute more, to feel like they're a part of something that, is big. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's the competitive nature in players. And PJ Tucker is one of those players. He's won a championship in this league and he's contributed to a team winning a championship. He didn't just win one just because he was a part of a team. And that's pretty much, I feel like, where he's going with his comments because he wants to win. He's glad he's with the Clippers. They're a good team. They got a lot of good pieces. But at the same time, you want to be a part. You want to contribute at a decent enough level to where you feel like, hey, you know what I'm saying? This is a good situation we're in. But it's just too many mouths to feed with the Clippers, which is the reason why ultimately they might suffer in the long run because, some nights it looks like this guy should take the last shot. Some nights it looks like another guy should take the last shot. And it's just like not enough. I don't know if it's going to be enough time for the Clippers to put all this together and make it all work. That's the biggest problem. And if they're only this, basically James Harden and PJ Tucker are 1 year rentals, basically, because I could see both of them being gone next year if the Clippers don't win a championship. I personally could see PJ Tucker gone anyway, regardless. So, I mean, with that being said, it's like, where do they go from here in regards to that? And like I said, when you have disgruntled players in the locker room, when you have guys who don't feel like they fit and they don't know how it's going to work and they're frustrated and things like that, that's not a coach's dream. A coach do not want to go through that. And, Ty Lue is probably frustrated too, trying to figure out a way to get everybody happy and keep everybody, motivated and stuff like that. Because when your team and your guys are not motivated, you're probably not going to win because they're not going to play their hardest and you're not going to get your best out of certain players when you have to call their number. So, I mean, this is definitely a problem with the Clippers. It's been a problem. You've heard me say in other videos, but I really hope the Clippers find a way to get it fixed, because it's really no need for for players to feel this way on the team. But it's just natural with all this bravado and all these star players on this team. And it's just, I don't know, it's going to be tough to manage all these attitudes. And I feel like Lawrence Frank might have made I feel like he made a bad decision, you know what I'm saying? And but the Clippers have been known to make bad decisions, and hopefully it doesn't backfire on them. But listening to things like this from a player like PJ Tucker, who has a voice in the locker room, who's won championships, who's been in the league a long time, and who can stand his ground, it just doesn't sit well. And when players are not happy,